Your face is talking right now. In every room you enter, in every conversation you have, in every moment of tension or discomfort, your face is broadcasting exactly what you feel before you have decided whether to show it. And every person in that room who knows how to read a face, and there are more of them than you think, is receiving that broadcast, filing it, using it, building a map of exactly where you can be pushed and where you will break. That flash of hurt when they dismissed you in the meeting, that flicker of anxiety when they named your number first in the negotiation, that microsecond of anger when they took credit for your work, you felt it, and your face confirmed it, and they saw everything. That is not weakness. That is an untrained face, and an untrained face in a world full of readers is a live feed to your vulnerabilities running 24 hours a day. And while you are broadcasting, the people across from you are doing something different. Their faces are giving you nothing, nothing you can use, nothing you can build a strategy from. And that asymmetry, that gap between what you are giving and what they are giving, is the entire reason they keep winning. This video is about ending that asymmetry, about building the face that gives nothing while seeing everything. Not a cold face, not a dead face, a governed face, the most powerful communication tool you will ever own. Because the man whose face reveals nothing forces everyone around him to operate on incomplete information. And in every human interaction, the person with the most complete information wins. Every time, without exception. You have been playing this game with your cards face up your entire life, and the people across from you have been playing with theirs face down. That ends today. Stay with this, because what you are about to learn about your own face and what it has been costing you cannot be unlearned. And once you see it, you will never read a room the same way again. Stop wearing your emotions on your face. Here is why it is the reason they keep winning and how it ends now. Let us start with what you were taught. Be authentic, be vulnerable, show people how you really feel. Emotional honesty is strength. Wearing your heart on your sleeve is courage. And in the right context, with the right people, at the right time, those things have their place. But here's what nobody added to that advice. Context is everything, and most of the contexts you inhabit daily are not safe for emotional transparency. Your workplace is not safe. Your negotiation is not safe. Your social competition is not safe. The people watching you in those environments are not your therapist. They are participants in the same competition you are in, and your emotional tells are competitive intelligence. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. Understanding who reads your face and why is not about becoming cold. It's about choosing when to be open and being absolutely certain it is your choice. They sold you vulnerability as universally virtuous because a man who broadcasts his emotional state is a man who can be managed, timed, provoked on demand, settled when useful, destabilized when convenient. Have you ever watched someone deliberately say something designed to produce a reaction on your face and then use that reaction against you in the same conversation? That is not coincidence. That's a technique. Comment right now. Think of the last time someone read your face before you had decided to show them anything. What did they do with what they saw? Name it. The negotiator who sees your face tighten when he names his price knows your ceiling before you have spoken it. The colleague who watches your jaw clench when their name is mentioned knows exactly what to do with that information. The date who catches your expression shift when they test you knows the test worked. None of these people are villains. They are simply operating with a skill you were never taught and using the information your face is offering them freely. The fix is not to stop feeling. The fix is to stop transmitting, to build the gap between what you feel internally and what your face reports externally. That gap is where your power lives. And the man who has built that gap, who feels everything and shows only what he chooses, becomes something the people around him have never encountered and cannot categorize. And what cannot be categorized cannot be managed.
Marcus Aurelius understood this. He wrote about it with the precision of a man who spent his life in the most face-read environment in the ancient world, the Roman imperial court, where a wrong expression could end a career or a life. He did not prescribe emotional death. He prescribed emotional governance, the disciplined, deliberate management of what the face reports as a matter of both power and philosophy. And in the next few minutes, his specific framework for doing exactly that. But first, meet him properly, because to use his ideas, you need to understand the arena he developed them in. Because if you think your social environment is demanding, Marcus Aurelius governed an empire of 60 million people while being surrounded by men who spent their entire careers trying to read his face and use what they found. Marcus Aurelius, born 121 AD, Roman emperor for 19 years, Stoic philosopher, and the most psychologically disciplined leader in the history of Western civilization. He was not born an emperor. He was adopted into the role at 17, thrust into the most observed, most face-read, most politically dangerous environment in the ancient world, and he survived it for decades by developing a philosophy of internal governance that remains unmatched. He wrote meditations not for publication, for himself, private notes written during military campaigns, often in a tent at the front lines, reminding himself of the principles he needed to maintain in the most pressure-filled circumstances imaginable. And from those private notes, from that ruthlessly honest self-examination under pressure, came the one line that contains everything you need to know about the governed face. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Power over your mind, not outside events. Not power over what happens to you. Power over what your mind does with what happens to you. And what your mind does, your face reports, which means face governance begins in the mind, not the muscles. This is not suppression. Suppression is pushing emotion down, where it builds pressure and eventually explodes, usually at exactly the wrong moment. This is governance, acknowledging the emotion internally and choosing what the face does with it. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily, in court, in battle, in the Senate, in negotiations with enemies and allies alike. His face became his most powerful political tool, not because it expressed nothing, but because it expressed only what he had chosen. And now, 6 specific lessons from his framework, each one a practical mechanism for building the gap between what you feel and what your face broadcasts, starting with the most fundamental. Lesson 1. The Observer. Marcus Aurelius' first principle of emotional governance: you are not your emotions. You are the one observing them, and the observer does not have to report what he sees. Most men are inside their emotions, merged with them. When the anger comes, they are the anger. When the anxiety arrives, they become anxious. There is no observer, just the experience flooding the face directly. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to step back from every emotion that arose, not to reject it, but to observe it, to say, anger is here, not I am angry. That single linguistic shift creates the observer position, and the observer controls the face. Practice this today. The next time you feel something strong in a social situation, name it internally before your face has a chance to. Anger is here. Hurt is here. Anxiety is here. The naming creates the gap. The gap is where you live now. Comment, what is the emotion that most consistently reaches your face before you can stop it? Name it, because the one you name is the one you can start to govern. Lesson 2. The neutral face. Most men misunderstand what a governed face looks like. They think it means no expression, a blank stare, a cold mask. That is not governance, that's performance, and performance leaks. The governed face is not blank, it is present, engaged, interested. It shows the emotions appropriate to the social moment, warmth when warmth serves, seriousness when gravity serves, but it does not show the uncontrolled interior responses that give your position away. Marcus Aurelius described this as the face of philosophy, not the absence of humanity, but the presence of governance. The distinction is everything. The practical application: in any high-stakes interaction, identify the emotions you feel and separate them into two categories: emotions that serve the interaction and emotions that expose your position. Show the first, govern the second. This is not lying. This is the same thing every skilled communicator, every effective leader, every successful negotiator has always done, and nobody told you was a learnable skill. Lesson 3. Provocation. Marcus Aurelius's provocation protocol was simple and absolute. When provoked, pause, breathe, name the emotion internally, then respond to what was actually said, not to how it made you feel. The response comes from the observer, never from the provoked self. Lesson 4. Eye contact. Your eyes are the most expressive element of your face, and the one most people fail to govern. They shift when you're uncertain. They harden when you're angry. They soften when you're vulnerable. They dart when you're anxious. The governed man's eyes do one thing regardless of his internal state. They are present, steady, not hard or soft.